Hey there, friends. I hope that you are having a wonderful Monday. I've got a couple new journals to go in the shop, either later on tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. We are revisiting these fabrics. We've seen these fabrics before on books, but they were quite popular and everybody really liked them. So I thought that they would make a nice cheerful, I know that we're all kind of experiencing some weather and it's like March, we want to be experiencing spring. So this is a great way to experience spring in a flow journal format. Even if you're cold, you can look at something like this and it honestly cheers you up for real. We are working with some very sparkly butterflies, y'all. Like I said, we've done this pattern before. It's just so darn pretty. And, I'm not a very girly girl, and I love it. I think that the pink is very sweet on it. I did finish this off with a bead strand that features cut glass beads, as well as a couple of these plastic stars that I am just very, very fond of. All right, let's take a look inside. The closure is really simple, y'all, because the color was so bright on the front. I just went with a very simple closure, and it is just a purple brad right here. Our first signature is all about the pink, and I got some new washi tape, y'all. Can you see that? Oh, my goodness. It just makes me happy just looking at it. A couple little sparkly butterflies, and, of course, telling your story. And, we talked last time that we talked about, the DNA that you're born with does not really dictate your story. You can be, do, or have anything that you want, and your story sometimes just has to be a little bit of a fairy tale. So tell yourself a fairy tale, write it down in your book, and start living your fairy tale. Start living your new story. I've got some tickets up here for you. This is a sweet little item from a calendar. It says today is the day and has a little puppy dog on it. I love puppy dogs. Something to color, another little color splash for you. These are wrens, and they're from, this is a book plate from a library book. And I think that it's so pretty because I hear wrens outside my house. And because I was curious about the sounds that they made, I went to a website called allaboutbirds.org. And I learned that birds, the chirping sounds that they make, some of them are songs and some of them are calls. And I didn't know that. I just kind of thought a bird chirped and that was it. So that was kind of an interesting thing to learn. This little card says family. And here is another color splash page for you. And of course this denotes that there's something on the inside for you guys to play with. This is a sweet little article about living out of doors. I think it would be fun to live outdoors. We used to go camping a lot. We used to take my younger son camping, and it was always such a, I don't know. That's a real experience, isn't it? To go to sleep in the woods and wake up in the woods and we used to go to this little island on Lake Murray. And, it's just so peaceful and quiet and just a great way to kind of get away from everything. There's a real trend these days called earthing, and that is where you take your shoes off and you let your feet touch the earth for, I think, at least 10 minutes a day, which is a little bit hard to do when it's super cold outside, but I like the philosophy. I love to go barefoot and go barefoot a whole lot in the in the summertime as weather allows. This is a sweet little pocket with some potted marigolds for you. I love marigolds. I think they're one of the prettiest flowers. And I love how they, how the seed pods form and how you can kind of crack open that seed pod and spread those seeds around and have a perennial plant, of course. This is a little resist butterfly for you. I think this is from a Heidi Swap little package of goodies. More birdies. We're just really fond of birdies here. A magazine page, and here is a hidden pocket with a lot of things to play with. We had March coming in like a lion and went out. We hope it goes out like a lamb, but oh my goodness, we had 60-mile-an-hour winds, which was just, you know, really incredible to have winds like that. So I put in a little page. This is from a magazine, and it is a little stuffed lamb, and we're coming in like a lion. I couldn't find a picture of a lion, so I thought a kitty cat's going to have to do. We're coming in like a lion, and we're going out like a lamb. We sure do hope. The next little section is an ode to coffee. I have some coffee dyed papers that our friend Gail sent us, I believe, and they are really pretty. I also saw Leanne, y'all, over at Creatively Free to Be Me, and I'll put a link to her site, do some tea dyeing, and I had never seen anyone do that before, and I thought, I think I'd like to try that. This little section says it's coffee o'clock. I've got a napkin for you to play with that says cafe. And then on the back of it, it says cafe au lait. Don't you love that blue? I think that's very pretty. Another little coffee piece for you that talks about our daily burdens. A recipe for coconut coffee. A fabric page for you to play with. I thought this was really interesting. You know, we're talking about flowers, and this is the Art of Waverly, right? This is from the 1988 Colonial Living magazine, Colonial Homes magazine. I don't think a whole lot of us have Waverly anymore, but I thought it was a nice little joined piece with the 1942 Red Cross home nursing book. Now this is about the bedroom and what needs to be in the bedroom. Comforters and quilts, bedspreads, and there is a section in this where they are talking about straw mattresses and how to upkeep a straw mattress. So I just thought that that was a fun juxtaposition with this, you know, with this rather extraordinary bedroom that we see here, and to remember that 40 years before that, people were still sleeping on straw mattresses. Interesting, huh? A lot of the world sleeps on a mat on the floor. So I think we have to be aware of that and just remember things like that. A little bit of a, this is a Smashbook thing for you. It says best place to go for a date, a night out with friends, that kind of thing. Helping you hone your desires. This is a card that says you're the cream in my coffee. A cup of joe. During World War II, American servicemen or GI Joes were known to be excessive coffee drinkers. It is possible that the soldiers and those who served them coined the expression cup of joe. I never really knew that's where that came from. A little fabric piece for you that says cappuccino, mocha, cafe, latte. A kitty cat. This is from West German collection. Isn't she extraordinary? Well, maybe he is extraordinary because he does have on a little blue bow right there. And a magazine page for you for inspiration. A little coffee pocket, and the pocket says, coffee and friends make the perfect blend. And there are a few things for you to play with inside the pocket right here. And a beautiful little bird made out of musical staff paper. Butterflies. I love this washi tape. I can't get over it. It's super neat. I love it. I think it's so pretty. Another little pocket that has some tags and tabs for you. This says, remember always, right here. We're getting into the home, home life section of our little books. I thought this was so interesting. You guys, there's a desk right there. Do you see the desk? Hang on. This is from the 1960 Adele's DIY book, and it teaches you how to build a kitchen, from the cabinets up. Well, this is a pull-out desk for the homemaker. Now, this is what's very interesting. This is from the 1942 Red Cross Home Nursing Manual. And I want to read you what it says because I thought it went really well with the desk. Home management as a business enterprise. A business executive prides himself on his efficiency in managing his business. He knows that his success depends upon wise planning so that every dollar and every hour will be used to the best advantage. The business of managing a home requires no less careful thought to produce the best results. I love it because it's so true. To manage a home is a big deal. I put you some planning ephemera right here to go with your desk and your planning of your home activities. A fabric page for you. This is the same fabric that we're using on the front. And of course, meal planning and timing is very important as you manage your household. We got a little birdie here. I thought this was an interesting angle. It's from Cabin Living magazine. It was just very interesting with the different sorts of wood, the trees in the background, and the snow. Dreams came true for a couple of country kids. When I was a young boy, I never dreamed that one day I'd marry the cute little neighbor girl down the road, and we'd eventually wind up living on the farm where she was raised. Jolene Pig and I grew up on nearby farms in Lincoln County, Tennessee. We were typical of most rural kids born in the 1940s. We were poor, but we didn't know it. And this is a little item from Renaissance magazine. It talks about the Depression. It's actually letters from people about how they lived during the Depression, which I thought was very interesting. And more, this is just some writing paper for you. Inky pages, love the inky pages. And we had a little bit about home, so we can talk about your own home details. Maybe you're looking for a home, or managing your home, or thinking of moving to a new home. Our Vintage Dictionary page talks about clean. That's important stuff. There's a key in here for you to alter, and this is a duplicate key system key collection envelope. We just don't see keys like this anymore, especially not key collection envelopes. So I thought this was a very interesting little piece, and you've got a key in there so you can alter it. A pack of posies for you to play with, and a little skinny book up here. Of course, these books just have so much paper, so many fibers for you to create cards or tags or tabs or bookmarks or whatever you want to create. More inky papers. These are ATCs that are cut from Kleenex boxes. Man, I mean, Kleenex boxes are like incredibly beautiful these days. We're all about reading, writing, and arithmetic right here, and this is our arithmetic section. This is from the 1972 Harcourt Brace math book. I love these pages because they have behavioral objectives. Having been an assistant teacher for 10 years, I remember things like this very vividly. We kept our teaching manuals. We kept them because, the classrooms were small and didn't have a lot of storage, but we kept them in the windowsill, and I can still see them sitting in the windowsill up there and still using them to plan lessons for the teacher that I taught for. This is a little bit of science for you, and I thought it was nice because it kind of picks up the butterfly theme. And people in history. So we've got math, science, history. Let's see what else. Oh, because we're talking about education. While the kids are at school, then usually mom is at work. And this is a little smattering of office ephemera for you. It has a deposit record, things that we just don't see a whole lot anymore. I stopped using checks years ago, and I ran across a deposit book the other day, a check register, and I thought, well, that's You know, I remember when that was part of my life and it's not anymore. Also remember when timesheets were a big part of my life and they're not anymore. This is a cross-section book where we know that the paper is old, but we're not sure about the calculations, whether they're old or not. A vintage card for you. It says, "For my mother on Valentine's Day. To Mommy from her boy." And we'll see the signatures in just a bit. It's a vintage bridge ephemera for you. I think this came from Kathy. It's very pretty. I never learned to play bridge. And some tallies right there. I love it when I get handwriting, you know. I think it's so interesting. This is a great little page from a 1956 book called 50 Projects for Boys and Girls. The paper, y'all, is super fragile, but I thought it went really nicely with the game ephemera that we have over here, and it's yellowed in just that yummy, beautiful way. This page is an embossed page, so you can color it or paint it. The Christmas card was from Georgie, 1959, and the Valentine's card is from your son, 1968. So we do have such a nice smattering of super cool ephemera right here for you. I spent the weekend sorting through ephemera from 1799 to around 1908. I read the most beautiful love letters, y'all, and I'll tell you about them later. Family troubles, money troubles. I read a letter from a child that had apparently just been a hellion at home, and then all of a sudden they ship her off to boarding school, and she's writing and telling her mom and dad that, you know, she wishes that she had done better. It's just, it was such an incredible look into history and writing. This is a little pocket of inky papers for you, and some Prima flowers and stickers. This is one of my favorite fibers. It's got some shiny on it. It's kind of burlap, kind of that weird juxtaposition between two things. This is more of the Craig Robinson. He is a fashion designer, and I love the way that went along with this piece about Lois Young. She tried Vanity Fair and Vogue, but they didn't quite fit her outgoing style. She found a home at the New Yorker, where her editor, Harold Ross, though not at all in agreement with her proclivity for debauchery, gave her free reign over New York City's speakeasy scene. So this is really neat. This is from the J. Peterman catalog. Got some pattern paper for you. I think there's more of that. Yep, more pattern paper right here. Inky papers for you to play with. Sewing instructions. Love that. That again is the Craig Robinson designs. And then in the very back, we've got, to me, this was very kind of gangster-ish, and Craig Robinson is known for his gangster-ish kind of designs in clothing. You know, they say that he is the 1920s designer that is designing now. And over here, we've got some pleather and lace. A little shout-out to Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty. Pleather and lace. There we go, guys. This little journal will be in the shop a little bit later on this afternoon. Well, it's evening now, so it'll be a little later on this evening. All right, let's take a look at Bless This Garden. Now, I will tell you guys, this book it's not... It's got that very Midori-ish kind of feel to it. You know, it's not a hard-bound book. It's very pliable. It's definitely got a traveler's notebook kind of feel to it. It's finished really simply with glass beads, cut glass beads, and I love these beads right here. I think they're so pretty. They turned out really nicely. So let's take a look, and S is for spring and summer. She is a big book, y'all. You know, really big. Lots of fun stuff to play with in this one. We're starting out, of course, with your story. And then we move right along to some bird ephemera. Really pretty Project Life cards that, that Kathy sent along. And some magazine pages to inspire you. Some little secret pockets. Beautiful pictures, beautiful things for you to color, fabric pages. I love this. This is a wood block, and it's got moss in it, and then it's got little tea-light candles in it. I thought that was so simple and so pretty. This is an arrangement called Anastasia, and Tim Holtz. This is Tim Holtz vellum for you. This is a page from an Edwardian lady's country diary. By Edith Holden. When daisies red and violets blue, and ladies' smocks all silver white, and cuckoo buds of yellow hue, do paint the meadows with delight. Isn't that beautiful? Magazine page for you. A little bird book, a bird plate. More coffee ephemera. An earned rest. Each morning sees some task begun. Each evening sees it closed. Something attempted, something done has earned a night's repose. Here's how to make a coffee float. This is a card that says you're the cream in my coffee. More of the Copy Dot Index card, which I'm crazy about. I thought that was so super cool. Coffee and Friends, the perfect blend right here. Just a little ATC for you to play with. And, of course, a napkin that says cafe. This is a picture of Edith Holden. Is she not beautiful? She was, you've got to get that book. You know, if you love Edwardian and if you love especially painting of nature, she was just an exceptional artist. And she kept the book daily. You know, she would go out even when it was just dreadful cold and sketch and paint. Just beautiful work. My friend Bob, who lives in England, found it at a car boot sale and knew that I would like it. So he sent it to me. These are some bird stickers, and they are from 1996. You live as long as you are remembered. I love that. This is a little bit of travel for you guys. This card says greetings, and we've got a bookmark in here, a little skinny book for you. This is from Maryville, Tennessee, I believe. Beautifully colored leaves, clearly mark autumn in the Great Smoky Mountains of Maryville, Tennessee. Now, I have not been to Maryville, but I've been to Knoxville. This is just a smattering of travel brochures that I have turned into pockets. This is the Bellwood Flea Market that is in Virginia. This is the Museum of Appalachia. Very beautiful photography here. Shelbyville and Simpsonville in Kentucky. And I've just turned the brochures into, like I said, into little pages, but the pages have pockets, which is kind of cool. This is a little book that my friend Judy, one of her students, made. They were talking about recycling and recycling Christmas cards and things like that. And tickets for you to alter if you wanna. A pocket full of posies to play with. This paper is one of my favorite papers. It's a key paper. Blog sites. You know, maybe you're traveling somewhere and you'd like to note the blog sites. I love this. This is a lady and she's seated and she has a bird on her hand. This is an embossed piece that you can color or paint, whatever you want. And we've got our arithmetic and math, science. This is a pocket of things for you to play with right here. In history, I love this piece about Alexander the Great. Enthroned as king of Macedonia at the age of 20, Alexander the Great went on to become one of the world's finest commanders. When he died in 323 at the age of 32, his empire stretched from Illyria in the west to Kashmir in the east. Incredible. So a nice little piece. I think these books should be interesting. I think these books should take you on a journey. So you've got a journey into the ancient world, as well as journey into all of the things that you can do with the book as far as art is concerned. This is a little bit about home. I love this 1988 look from Colonial Homes magazine. And, you know, I think about, you know, I love to make bread. I don't do it a lot, but I really do love it. And I think this is such a nice photo from the Great American Recipes book of different kinds of bread. This is from the 1942 Red Cross book that says how to make a home out of a house. It's just such interesting reading, you guys. And to think it was in a home healthcare nursing book, there's not a whole lot about, hey, give this person some medicine, or hey, give this person some therapy, or hey, anything like that. It is mostly about, you know, how you can kind of circumvent illnesses by, you know, cleanliness and things like that. I mean, it was written in 1942. So, you know, that was before the advent of, you know, people actually taking a lot of medicine. This is a piece from the Renaissance, I can't remember the name of the magazine, and I just remembered it. Oh crap, I can't remember it. But this is more about the Depression, and these are actually, it's a story about spaghetti and how a family just absolutely lived on spaghetti. This is from the 1960 Audell's DIY book. This is a kitchen. I just love it. A little more from, I think this is from Country Living magazine. I love these photographs, especially of the little fella pumping water. I've got a little bit of office ephemera for you. You know, we've talked about home. We've talked about, let's talk about the office, or let's not talk about the office. A time card, check register for you, and a phone call log. I love this little lady. Another embossed piece for you to play with. Tomatoes for lunch. The noon meal was crushed garden tomatoes mixed with a little olive oil and herbs, salt and pepper, and spread over bread. When we'd finished up the rest of the juices with more bread until there was nothing left. I love that. There's probably nothing better than a homegrown tomato, y'all. I know you know that. This is a key for you to alter right here. A sweet little picture of two little sisters. Some fashion for you. Now I've got stickers in here. I've got a pocket of things for you to play with. Very Audrey. Everyone knows an Audrey. The French writer Colette. Frizzy henna curls, bright rouge circles on her ancient cheeks, is being pushed in a wheelchair through the dining room of the Hotel de Paris in Monte Carlo. Suddenly she sees this unknown wide-eyed beauty and raises a bony finger. Voila, that's my Gigi. So this is a story about Audrey Hepburn. This is from a fashion magazine. More things to play with. I love these pattern, you know, how-to, the whole pattern thing. Oh my goodness, I tell you, if any of you guys sew and make clothes, that is high art, y'all. I've got some pattern paper for you. Some fabric pages. And some lace. I thought that pink lace was just so pretty. And a dress form for you to play with. A little skinny book that has a sweet little lady on it in a cool dress. This denotes that it's book nerd time. This is gosh, you know, I mean, we check things out like this. I'm thinking of things that are, you know, that I've used before, like timesheets, check registers that you just don't see anymore, that we don't adapt into our daily lives anymore. So this is a checkout card for a library book. I love this. It says, stick to the plan. I like this too. It has a typewriter on it. I got a typewriter. I cleaned out a house and I have a typewriter now. And I think it's so cool, but I am not sure if the ribbon still works or anything like that. I haven't had a lot of time to explore that. Some planner items for you. A vintage Christmas card. This one has such a satiny finish, and there's satin right here on the candle. A Merry Christmas to my wife. A little bit of Shakespeare. A little bit of Hardy Boys for you. And languages. We've got German, Swedish, and French. This is the vocabulary from the Confessions of Augustine, which is in Latin. I knew you guys would like that a lot. These are some items that are kind of archaic now as well. You know, we don't really use physical calendars anymore. Name, address, city, phone. There's no place to list your email or your mobile. Some pretty Chinese characters, a little bit of Alice in Wonderland. This is the old Father William. You are old, Father William. Another sweet vintage Christmas card. It's signed Isabel and Bob, 1961. And then in the very back here... Oh, I'm sorry. The Christmas card to my wife was signed Harry. And I think when I just saw Harry, I thought about Harry and Meghan. You know, the Prince of Wales and his new to-be bride. This is from the Vicar of Wakefield. And it's just a beautiful picture, a beautiful little print from the book. So Bless This Garden will be in the shop a little bit later on tonight. I am really appreciative of you guys who hung out with me and listened to my croaky voice. I've got some croaks going on, but I am just fine. I've just got a little bit of a red nose, as Sir Walter Elliot told Anne Elliot in Persuasion. You just got a little bit of a red nose. And that's all I got, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. Talk to you soon. Bye.